It's an old technique, requires the minimum of equipment, tools. You'll need just some adhesive, CA or balsa cement, an appropriate thread and a needle. That thread is polyester from a sailmaker. You could use kite string, you can use Dacron fishing line, thin stuff. The needle is just a large needle from a generic packet of needles. Need a rule, marking pen of some sort, piece of balsa 5 or 6 mil square, modelling knife and a pin vise with a 1 mil drill, and that's it. We'll commence by laying out the job. Set the hinge in 20 mil from the edge. Like everything's absolutely not critical, and I happen to like making hinge lines about 30 mil long. We'll make the hinge line longer on one side than the other, and the reason for doing this is to make sure that the hinge pulls centrally and doesn't try to make the tailplane move when we tighten it. I'll show you. The holes will be drilled approximately 5 mil from the edge, hence our piece of balsa. I'll make the stitches the same width apart. This has given me 6 on one side. On the other side there will be 5 hinges, and they're offset to the centre of the hinges opposite. Now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on one side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on the other. Drill out the holes. One mil drill works about perfectly for me. By the way, if you don't own a pin vise, you can do as I'm doing here and use a modelling knife handle. This is a Max modelling knife. Works quite handily as a pin vise. Not all do. A large knot in the end of the twine, sufficient to stop it being pulled through the 1 mil hole you've drilled. Commence stitching in one of the end holes on the side with the more holes, 6 in this case. Pass the needle from top through to bottom and return through the hinge line. To the diagonally opposite hole On the other side, needle always passing through from top to bottom. And back up through the hinge line. Continue the opposite diagonal hole through top to bottom. And simply continue this process, pulling the stitches tight as you go. They don't have to be too tight, just tight enough until you've worked your way right across to the far end. When you reach the 6th hole on the other end, you can leave it at that if you want to use single pass hinges. And at that point you can glue off the thread and call it done, but I prefer to go back and pass the other way, so simply reverse what you've been doing. The difference here is that the needle must pass up between the stitches that you've laid before. And simply reverse what you're doing, go back the other way, and you'll make little V's if you're doing it right. And every time the needle has to pass between the stitches that you laid before. Continue back the other way. Do it once again. Back at the hole you started. And when you arrive back at that hole, pass the needle back down through again. At this point, a dab of appropriate glue. Cut the thread off at the bottom, of course. Trim it up later when you're sure the glue's gone nice and hard. Complete the job. It remains simply to put a dollop of glue in each of the holes, fill them in, do that top and bottom. There you have it, nice, neat, fully free moving hinges.